Awesome. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, no problem.
And we are live. This is exciting. I had over 150 people RSVP to this live, which is so exciting. That's a lot of people for a live, especially this is I don't do lives very often. I'm starting to have a schedule now, so bi-weekly. Check out, enjoy the lives, but it's uh, it's still a new process, and we are growing with it. But it's great. Lives are such a great way to connect with each other and to talk about topics that we are passionate about. So today, I am going to be talking about how to grow how to grow your virtual team, how to grow online with your virtual team. And I have a nifty PowerPoint presentation for Zoom that is visible for Zoom folks and I think that that should also stream to our other platforms as well, except Instagram. Sorry, Instagram. But I'm going to share this presentation, and we'll be ready to go. Okay. Okay. So, a little bit of background about remote teamwork and my experience with it and why I'm talking to you about it. I started out as just a freelance copywriter when I was in high school. My friends were getting jobs at the mall. They were not enjoying those jobs at the mall. And I said, man, I don't want to be doing something that I dislike the way that my friends are. My mother actually read an article in one of her women's magazines about freelancing online, and she shared it with me, and I said, I think I can do that. So I decided I was going to be a freelance singer. But it turns out people don't want to purchase singing services from a 16-year-old singing songs in her basement into her version 3. We were on iOS 3 iPhone. Didn't work out. So I'm like, shoot, okay, let's find another thing I could freelance with. And at that time, I had self-published a book. I was big into writing and editing. And I said, I bet you I could edit some children's books. And sure enough, that's exactly what I did. I edited a children's horror book. That author recommended me to a friend who recommended me to another friend. And before I knew it, I had my own freelance copywriting business and copy editing business. Now, here's the thing with copywriting and copy editing. Nowadays, everything is online. So to be a copywriter that is going to expand and have a lot of different clients, you really need to have a grasp on SEO. So I realized that I needed to learn SEO. And once you get into the world of SEO, you also get into the world of ads and the world of PR. It all goes hand in hand in social media. So I knew that I was only one person. I was also getting my master's and my doctorate at that time. And I said, you know what, let me hire some folks who have that experience in ads that I don't have. I know how ads work. I've worked with clients on them before, but let's get somebody who's Google Ads certified. Let's get somebody who knows graphic design very well so that they can design these eye-catching ads. And that was how I hired my first couple people. And just throughout school, I would meet people. I'd meet classmates. I'd meet somebody who was a great comedy writer and go, man, that's great. We could use somebody with your sense of humor to hook readers in, to get them to pay attention to our ads and to our posts. So that was how I had initially grown my team, right? And then I discovered sources like Upwork. I discovered places like internships.com. I found Indeed. I also discovered the importance of Facebook groups and finding team members through there. Hey, can anybody recommend a great ads manager, somebody who knows back-end SEO and development? Those are the kinds of things that I started doing, and that's how I grew my team. I now have a team of 40 I have never met about 90% of these people in real life. We've spoken many times via video chat, but we never actually met in real life. And how, timely now that other people are in this trend as well and hiring more people virtually. It's amazing. It's really funny to be, to have been doing this for a decade now, since I was literally 16. It's something. It's really great to see. So that's why I have this presentation working with a remote team, which is something that I have presented also to the Women's Center for Entrepreneurship. They have many great workshops. They're part of the Small Business Association. So I present this to their entrepreneurs, and I'm happy to share this with you as well. It's a bit about how to grow your team. So, one essential component, it's often overlooked by business owners, is a team, right? And what I mean by that is, I spoke with a client before, and he was doing everything on his own. He has a chiropractic business, and yet he's doing all these things on his own. He's trying to post all his own social media. He is trying to, write his own blogs, and he's just doing so many things at the same time. He's a professional chiropractor. Like, he should be focusing on that. But a lot of people are ingrained with this idea that they need to do it all, and it becomes exhausting, and you wind up not doing as good of a job as if you had the professionals do it. An example this morning was a nightmare for me. I had I'm in my restroom washing my hands, and I hear what sounds like a helicopter landing on my roof. I'm like, that can't be good. I go downstairs and I see that my pipe attached to my pump is just vibrating, and it's so loud. Clearly, the pump is not working. Now, could I have, in my limited experience, checked out that pipe, looked at the pump, and tried to fix it myself? Yes. But would it necessarily do me any good? Would I be able to fix it the same way as the plumber that I called that fixed it within 15 minutes had done? No. It would have taken me, I would have invested a good 2 hours of my time. I certainly wouldn't have finished it in 15 minutes like him. And I very well could have messed something up. And it's the same thing with your social media. It's the same thing with your blogging. Sure, you can spend 2 hours a week writing your blogs and doing research and all those things, or 5 hours a week, and blogging can actually be very strenuous. But is it going to be as good? Are you going to know how to do SEO keywords? Are you going to know how to share it on social media? Probably not. That's why having a team around you saves you time. And if you want to think time is money, saves you money too. Because what takes you 5 hours, you can spend that 5 hours doing something else for your business that's going to be more meaningful for your business with your time. The right team members really can help you reach your objectives. I have had some team members with me for 4 years, and without them, my business would not be where it is today. They add so much to it. So some team members have great ROI. They're a great investment. I don't want to talk about people in terms of investing, but it's just a fact. In some cases, you really will be able to grow your business, which makes an investment. You're investing in people who are investing in your business. So identify the right human capital. It's a terrible, terrible way to phrase it, but that's how some of these things are thought of and spoken about. And it just means, when you, as in human capital, if you hire, let's say my team, right? We do 360 marketing. We are your human capital. We are an investment. You're investing in humans who are going to grow your business. So human capital, that's the term. It's like funnels. When people say funnels, it's like, oh my gosh, it sounds so technical and mechanical, but it's really a great way to describe what it is. There was an article in Forbes, and they said one of the most important components of a business is its people. Products don't build companies, people do. So if you're just one person building a company, you could be missing out. Now, how to find the right people for your business? That's a tough one, right? The first thing I always like to do is I make a list of tasks that I would like my team members to complete. And I think about what type of people could do that. They could have certain credentials, your dream hire. So think about your dream hire. Do they have a bachelor's? Do they have an advanced degree? Do they have a certificate? Do they have technical training? What specifically do you want? Do they have experience in a certain industry? Do they have certain morals? There's something I've been working on. It's called Workalike, and it is a website where you take a quiz, a freelancer takes a quiz, and you see how compatible you are based on your personality. So for example, if the freelancer answers that deadlines are everything, they do all that they can to meet deadlines, and the client also said, we need things done fast, we know they're going to be a good match. But if the freelancer says something like quality comes first, it takes me as long as it takes me, I need to get the client quality product. And if the client says, you know what, deadlines, I'm not in any rush, I want a quality product, then we know they're a good match. So that's workalike.live is the website. It is now up and live. We have a few people on there and we're growing it. But there are also many other places where you can find dream hires. We're just trying to make it easier on Workalike. There are many hiring platforms though, besides Workalike that does that. You have Upwork, where you can also, get into some strenuous conversation with them, talk to them about their experience, give them a call. I mean, I've been on Upwork 8 years, and we get on video calls and we talk about what my team can do for them, how we can help them. We answer all of their questions. We talk to them about our work process. We even have little SOPs detailing how we do our work. So going to hiring platforms and seeking out people and seeing who will talk to you. If they don't want to speak to you on the phone or on the computer, a lot of times that is a red flag. Typically, at least if you're hiring an American, sometimes, I have a developer that I recently hired who is brilliant, and we never spoke on the phone, and we just texted, and I could tell his technical knowledge was wonderful, spot on. So I hired him because I knew that he lived in a different country. So English is not his first language. So he felt uncomfortable. He didn't want his first impression with me to be him misunderstanding or me misunderstanding him. He wanted his technical skills to speak for themselves. So he sent me sufficient paperwork and details about himself through online. And that was how I hired him. But he is a 1 in 100 hire. Usually, especially with Americans, we need to talk on the phone. I understand you have introverts, you have extroverts. I'm actually more of an introvert myself. And it feels more comfortable for a lot of people just to type rather than speak. So if somebody is making the effort to speak to you on the phone or via video cam, that they're serious about this job. Then you want to approach your possible hires. You talk to them about not just what they can do for you, what is in it for them. Obviously, you're paying them, but tell them about your expectations, your deadlines, things like that, so that everybody's in agreement. There are not going to be any miscommunications or issues. You always want to talk about it up front, and then you want to test them. What I typically do when I'm hiring for a position is I hire 3 people. Okay, and I give them all the same small task, and this is a paid task. That's another thing. Don't be one of those people who goes and says, I'm going to give you a test task and then doesn't pay for it. There are so many scammers out there. It's just a very unfair position to put your freelancer in. I had way back when I was a teenager and naive, I had a client say, hey, I have a test task for you. Please write me a 500-word blog article on this topic. And I was so eager to please, I did it. And I found out they did it to like 10 other freelancers, and they weren't looking to hire any of us. They just wanted free, original, American written blogs, right? It's a terrible thing, but people do that. So you don't ever want to put a freelancer in that position where you talk to them, everything seems great, and then they say, can you do this free test for me? No, unless you're hiring for like a full-time position, even then, you should compensate them in some way. You should always reward them. You should always pay them fairly. So what I do is I create a paid test task. Typically it is something like writing a blog or create an ad, just one Facebook ad. And I hire 3 people to do that. And it always happens the same way, okay? One person does mediocre work. It's just either they were late, they didn't do what I asked, they didn't follow directions, the quality wasn't good, and they're just pretty much say, thank you so much for your work, and if they ask, if for feedback, I give them the feedback and tell them how they can improve in the future, and we say goodbye. The second person is decent. They did good work. They followed the instructions. it looks fine. You know, their work is good. And I kind of keep them on like a little list of, you know, maybe I'll give them a second chance in the future if I am still hiring for this position. But then the third person does the outstanding job. That person did everything according to my instructions. They did it with quality and they did it on time. And that's the person that I hire for the long term. And I have seen this never fail. It works so well. And I encourage everybody hiring people for their team to do this. It really, really works. So more about finding people who fit. You really want them to have at least one of these attributes. Flexibility is important, especially nowadays. You know, there are, in the remote work world, there are constant ups and downs. So can they meet those challenges? You know, definitely explain to them how you work. So for my team, for example, most of the team works 10 o'clock to 6 o'clock, right? Those are standard hours of operation. Some folks, I need them to work on the weekend. You know, we have certain things that we do on the weekend, and they understand that going into it. So we need to be flexible to work on the weekend. Other folks, I need them to work at night. So they have evening hours. So make sure that they are aware ahead of time and don't spring things on them. I have had clients previously call me at 1 a.m. and I'm eager to please. So I've answered the phone at 1 a.m. for clients because I know about being flexible, but I would never expect one of my team members to do that. So be flexible and have your team be flexible, but be reasonable at the same time. Another thing that I always look for in a superstar hire is somebody who's a problem solver. There are most people that you hire, they will just see what you're asking them to do and they will do it. So you have to give them very detailed instructions and they will do that. But my favorite hires are the ones who identify questions I didn't even know existed in the first place. So I always talk about Lauren. I've been working with her for 4 years. She's the type of superstar where you send her something or you say, hey, Lauren, what do you think about if we started advertising on this platform? And she will come up with 5 solutions of why or why not we should not do it. And 2 things that she thinks would be even better. So for example, if I say, hey, Lauren, why don't we advertise on TomThumb.com? She could say, you know what? Tom Thumb isn't super reputable. Look at, he has these 3 bad reviews of that website. And, you know, there was this article about how he scammed puppies out of their Christmas money last year. So I don't think TomThumb.com is very good, but I found this RalphHouse.com website, and they seem much more reputable. And they're having a 10% off sale right now. So I think we should use Ralph House. That's the kind of feedback that you get with somebody like that. And you know, whereas if there was somebody who wasn't that type of problem solver and you sent them that and you said, hey, can you check out TomThumb.com? They might just look at it and go, I signed up for TomThumb.com. See the difference? One just does what they're told, which is great for some projects, but for the big picture, for delegating, you want those problem solvers who are going to look at what you have done and figure out the solution before you even knew that you needed one. Compensating your talent is also super important. I have had people wanting to hire us and say, hey, can I pay you guys in equity? That works for publicly traded companies when I work with them, because then we have something to actually measure. But you have to really make sure that you trust a company if you're going to be paid in equity. So I said as freelancers. So if you're thinking about paying your client, your freelancer in equity, you better have good numbers to back it up. And I would recommend actually starting off with a package or an hourly pay to prove yourself to that freelancer that they can trust you. It's an unfair position to put them in to ask them for just accepting equity. And then determining paydays is important. So when it's a freelance basis, typically they get paid weekly, right? Or they get paid via project, but there are also monthly retainers that I get. If you plan on hiring somebody remotely as a full-time team member, though, typically bi-weekly is the best way to do it. And then hiring interns is also, I have found to be a wonderful resource as well. I would say 85% of my team who is now regularly working with us started out as interns, most of whom were having an intern. What you want to think when you're working with an intern is not, hey, I'm getting free labor or very cheap labor, right? You want to be teaching them so that when the time does come that their training internship is finished, they have those skills that they need to support you in a nicely paid, fairly paid position. So we always try when we're doing the internships to make sure that the intern is getting college credits and or getting paid a fair amount for an intern or an entry-level freelancer. And then if their work has been done well, then they're offered their regular paid position. So hiring interns, internships.com, it's a game changer. It's a lifesaver. It's really great. Also, I have found by going back to my alma maters, I found several interns that way. So yeah, you have a few different options there. Now, you may encounter a time when your business is just expanding so much, right? And you can't handle it all on your own. That's kind of what this whole thing is about, right? You just want to keep expanding and growing. And that's why, your team is so important, and why teamwork is so important. So, when I hired my first person, my second person, it was a very close team. But then once we started growing, it was easy to become disconnected. So that's why we now do a lot of team building exercises and things to feel connected, to know that we all have a common goal. So when you hire your team, not just one or two freelancers, when you grow your team, it's important to make sure that there's a feeling of camaraderie with their teamwork. Now, we've gone through a lot of these, but there are many benefits to hiring a team. Obviously, you can delegate tasks, but you can also do things that you couldn't as you're only one person. Raising awareness about your company, super important, right? Your team can promote you on social media, articles, SEO, all that fun stuff. You can work with people around the world. I'm in Jersey, and a lot of my team is East Coast based, Pennsylvania, New York, New Jersey. But we also have team members in Pakistan. We have people in Australia. We have people in Venezuela. We have people in Europe. I mean, we have team members all over. We also have clients all over. And it's a really, really neat thing. And you get the best of the best, because you're not just limited to who's in your backyard. You get diverse viewpoints, and that's really great. And your business, technically, if you need to be, can be available 24/7. My European team members, right now it's nighttime for them, but when it's nighttime for us, it's morning for them. So guess when they're working, right? So it really does help a lot. We're able to be more available because of that. And just like I said, you can work with more professionals and experts in your fields who aren't only in your backyard, but around the globe. Obviously, you're also able to save time. You can focus on managing your business. More people means more clients. The more team members that you have means the more clients that you can take on. That's definitely a favorite of most people. If you're only one person, you can't handle your company, and your company can't scale. You need more people to handle more people. And you can also expand into multiple fields. So for example, I started out as just a copywriter and a copy editor. I would not be able to offer 360 marketing if I didn't have this team of incredible professionals in multiple fields. So you can grow in different verticals. And finally, you should know your numbers. If this sounds obvious, but if you have a team of 9 people and you hire one person, that person is now 10% of your team. That means that they can make a big difference in your team. So you got to be careful with who you are hiring. And that's why that testing 3 people before you hire is really important. And, startups do need to be picky with who they're hiring. You should make sure that you're definitely compatible, because things do move quickly in a startup, and it is a smaller team that you're working with. So do your homework, make sure you're compatible. If you would like to talk about, taking those quizzes to make sure that you are compatible, DM me or go to workalike.live. I'll leave the link as well if I can somewhere on here. But yeah, I mean, there are a lot of ways to test your freelancers to test your team members to make sure that they are compatible with you. And that is my presentation. And I thank you for watching. Wow, that 28 minutes flew by. If we have any questions, I will see if I can pull them up, or maybe not. If anybody has any questions, you can always DM me. You can always comment, and I'm always happy to make response videos about that. But thank you very much for watching, and I hope happy holidays and happy hiring. Thank you.